Hello everyone and welcome back to LewisNews, your #1 YouTube channel for all types of Spider-Man news. And in today's video we are going to be covering Andrew Garfield talking about that moment in Spider-Man No Way Home where his version of Peter Parker ends up saving MJ Watson, obviously played by Zendaya, and he's reflecting on the moment of what it meant for his character, what it meant for Tom's character, and what it meant for the story of No Way Home. But before we get to that, if you want to around here, make sure you subscribe because we cover everything from the games, the movies, and the shows. And with Marvel Spider-Man 2 coming out on October 20th, you're not going to want to miss any news on that. Also, MCU Spider-Man 4 is actually coming sooner than we thought, with it very late into pre-production before the strikes happened. So obviously when the strikes are lifted, the unions come to an agreement, we are going to be talking more MCU Spider-Man news. But with out of the way, let's get straight into this. So this is the exact quote that Andrew Garfield gave in an interview when regarding Spider-Man No Way Home and that moment in the film. He said, "By catching MJ, he got to make up for a terrible tragedy that he tried to avoid in his world. If he hadn't have been in Peter's one's world, then it's possible MJ may have met the same fate as Gwen." So here Andrew Garfield is reflecting on the arc that obviously his version of Spider-Man went through in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now obviously this is obvious, okay, so we knew that the reason they implemented this moment into the film wasn't just because of a reference to the death of Gwen Stacy or even TASM 2 itself, but in fact it was a redemption arc for Andrew Garfield's character. And I think it's interesting that he's reflecting on this here because Andrew Garfield has come out before and said that if the story is right and if the story and if the script is up to scratch, then he is down for coming back as Spider-Man in the future. And I reckon that was his mentality going into Spider-Man No Way Home. He probably didn't want to show up for just a, worthless cameo alongside Tobey Maguire. He actually wanted some kind of story for his version of the character. After all, Andrew Garfield loves Spider-Man. He loves his version of the character and was heartbroken after The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and the way that the studio treated the characters, surrounding characters, and all of the creative process when it came to making those movies. And obviously, subsequently, The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was cancelled, leaving a sour patch with Andrew Garfield and Spider-Man. But subsequently, No Way Home came around and Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal gave Andrew Garfield a second chance and the redemption story in No Way Home by having Andrew Garfield's version of the character catch MJ. And I think it's really interesting that he's reflecting on that because it definitely solidifies the fact that that is probably the reason as to why Andrew Garfield came back. If Andrew Garfield's version of the character and if Tobey Maguire's version of the character in Spider-Man No Way Home were just worthless cameos and they were just thrown in there because, hey, they're doing the multiverse, then I reckon Andrew Garfield probably would have said no. But obviously you can tell by the way that he talks about his character and No Way Home in general in the interviews that he does, that he's really passionate about having this character have a story whenever possible. And in No Way Home, we had him save MJ, giving him the redemption arc from the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he failed to save Gwen Stacy. But that is pretty much it for today's news video. I thought this was very interesting and I wanted to talk about this for a second. I think it is quite interesting. If you want to hear more about The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and the possibility of that happening, even Andrew Garfield commenting on it himself, then make sure to go check out my video on The Amazing Spider-Man 3. It is on the channel at the moment. As I mentioned at the start of the video, make sure you're subscribed and have the bell notification on so you do not miss anything from Marvel Spider-Man 2, MCU Spider-Man 4, and a bunch of other projects that are coming out Spider-Man related in the future. And with that being said, leave a like on this video, comment down below what you think. That always helps me out and always really helps the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.